Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Fatal 12. In the last episode, Miharu found herself 3 allies in eliminating number 4 and Alan. So make sure if you haven't watched that to go back and watch it. Hitting that subscribe button to get you updated on when new videos come out is going to be very helpful in this in particular instance, as well as clicking the like button down below because it shows your support for the channel. So, without further ado, it looks like we're back in Rinka's perspective, as she spent all of yesterday in her room, while Miharu was out gathering information with Odette, Federico, and, what's his bucket? Steel. I spent all of yesterday in my room. There's no food left in the house, so I need to trudge over to the convenience store today, and it's raining outside. The rainy season just started, so there'll be plenty more in the days to come. God, I still feel really bad for Rinka, man. Miharu hasn't spoken to Rinka ever since... Wait, that was it? Oh, they're gonna run into each other, aren't they? Miharu hasn't spoken to Rinka ever since Naomi's funeral. She recognized that she lacks the ability to feel the gaping hole left in Rinka's heart. Of course, she wants to spend every possible second with her. If at all possible. Simply being there with her isn't enough for Miharu, though. Her greatest desire involves Rinka's happiness itself. She truly believes that her actions will protect Rinka in her current state. This is why Scale's proposition was welcome news. All 4 likely have their own convictions, but that's fine. It doesn't change the fact that she considers them targets to eliminate. One day later, Scale makes contact with Miharu. He said he'd be spending some time looking into Yu's background, so she started to wonder if he found something already. It was going a lot faster than anticipated either way. He denied it in the dream world, but he really might be a detective. Of course, it's equally possible that he failed to find anything of note. In that case, figuring out a quick solution is the best way to go. Yo! Good timing, we were waiting for you. Drinks on me today! Everyone is already drinking by the time she arrives. Miharu finds herself questioning why adults find it necessary to drink this much. She gets that there are the kind of people who need to drink and talk about things properly, though. That's why she opts to accept their offer and order some milk. They only serve espressos here, apparently, and Miharu turns down the offer. She is hoping that next time she drinks coffee, it'll be Rinka's. Oh, now she's in not her school uniform. Could we try to keep this short, please? I'm not too fond of how long the conversation drags on when you're all drinking. No mercy from you, huh? Well, not like I gathered anyone just for drinks. I bring some good news to the table as well. What good news? As I anticipated, plenty of journalists are looking into what the U kid did at your school. Gotta wonder what'll happen to all their work if we eliminate him, though. Wouldn't it change to a completely different scoop? Who cares? Get to the point. What you managed to find out? Well, it seems there's no direct connection between what happened at Mecca and the terrorist organization Null. Doesn't make them entirely unconnected, though. There's apparently a group that shares the same ideas. They claim to be Null's Japan branch, and they did play a part. How do you know? You said yesterday he was affiliated with Null in some manner. How did you find this much out in just one day? Use something like a code name, right? We're the only ones who know this, so it served as a solid bargaining chip. The entire conversation has taken a toll on Miharu's sense of reality. Hearing about how things like this make her feel like she's playing part in a fictional story. That's weird. Fictional story, gosh. Their ideals and goals are irrelevant. They're not directly connected to you either. What's important is the information about you himself. So that was your idea of foreplay, huh? Might as well get to the main event now. I still don't know much about you, but it seems like the young boy joined the ranks of Null's Japan branch this spring. He's a former mercenary who was born in a war zone. Seems there's an organization that plays in that place that would gather up orphans and raise them as child soldiers. They brought him from there. He's well versed in all manner of weapons and tears throughout the battlefield with little emotion. Some refer to him as Sagittarius the Swift. Now that reeks. The kid probably was probably inducted into a local organization of some kind of payment. Back on topic, though. I guess he's got some kind of grudge against Japan, so he volunteered himself, or so they say. But get this, apparently Null's Japan branch weren't even in the market for any new soldiers. All they did was buy a puppet willing to throw away its life for them. Where did you get this info? Sorry, but I'm going to keep that to myself. Don't want to run the risk of you two chasing down my sources. Yeah, we get it. You're in charge of info, and we're in charge of heavy lifting, right? That makes me question my place here. No need. It's you who got us to act in the first place. There's plenty of merit to your involvement. Scale gives her a quick wink. It only serves to annoy Miharu, prompting her to avert her eyes with a huff. He went for America, right? Why did he bother with such a place like that? I was going to bring that up next. Seems like the organization didn't order him to go there. It's best to assume that he had an accomplice based on how he infiltrated the school and the amount of explosives he brought with him. But it was his sole choice to do so. His infiltration method involved wearing an Ameka school uniform to blend in. While he did stand out due to his appearance, no one doubted that he was a girl. It was an act so bold, in turn, it seemed perfectly natural. That ain't much of an organization when your people run around and do whatever they please. Speaking of which, there was that one case towards the end of last month. They found a suspicious object on the Yamanote line. Is that related in any way? Nice deduction. You should be able to figure out why there's so much info about them available by now. The reason nothing came from that is because there was a traitor in the organization. Someone volunteered to commit terrorist attacks, but never followed through. Investigations to kick them off were behind the scenes thanks to that. Most of the certain members have been arrested as a result, and the organization's taken a massive hit. The news has been kept under wraps to avoid stirring up the public, as well as to prevent possible retaliation. The whole debacle damaged Null's reputation. Not much of a surprise, though. The organization must have reached a breaking point for a traitor to pop up, but who knows what triggered it. It seems like you get to the important part of the story, though. There's more. Seems like there were plans to bomb the Yamamote line before the case I just mentioned. Said plan got delayed when the person they wanted to carry out the mission vanished. Miharu can already tell where he's going with this. The nature of the conversation feels odd, but she finds herself able to follow along well enough. Scale takes another sip of his drink before presenting his conclusion. I think the person who vanished was you. The plan was carried out during the first week of May, just after Golden Week. It's no coincidence it overlaps with the beginning of Divine Selection. Damn, you dug up a big treasure for us, didn't you? You even went and revealed his cause of death. Got to admit, it wasn't expecting him to be a suicide bomber. Their exchange doesn't seem to make sense on the surface, but Miharu was able to put the pieces together as they talk. Then again, anyone would be able to put two and two together after hearing this much. If he blew himself up, then it only makes sense that he got undone as well. Guess the explosion itself is what killed him. Either that or the fire. Oh, there we go. Light spews. Yo, whenever this music starts, isn't shit about to go down? Light spews forth from Frederico's book, followed by Odette's and Miharu's, resulting in a new card for each. It's only been a single day since they began to cooperate, but they have already discovered Yu's cause of death. It's a cause for joy, but there is more than that. Surprise. Miharu is just as surprised as the others, albeit not entirely for the same reason. Wednesday, May 2nd, the very day Miharu and Rinka, along with the other participants, lost their lives. The day fate itself was altered. Rinka had told Miharu the general gist of what she did that day. She never mentioned her direct cause of death, but Miharu made sure to ask Naomi, who was with Rinka that day, about the details a few days later. Naomi was obviously frightened by Miharu's threatening attitude, which is probably why they had that falling out, but she did talk about her dreams where she and Rinka were caught up in a fire on the train. Miharu feels nothing but guilt over how she treated Naomi at the time, but it's too late for that now. Regardless, Rinka's death was through suffocation. Miharu learned this after eliminating Sonia and obtaining that card. As much as it pained Miharu to imagine Rinka's death, she used that card together with what Naomi had told her to reach the conclusion that smoke from the fire caused Rinka to suffocate. However, part of her conjecture was incorrect, she now realizes. It was no accident. Rinka was the victim of Yu's terrorist attack. What's up, Miharu? You look awfully pale. Sorry, I use the Yamamochi line frequently. It's hard to imagine. It's hard to shake the image of people dying on it. Miharu does... I mean, that's actually kind of a reasonable diversion. Does all she can to maintain composure, but her expression shows hints of anger. Yu not only took Naomi's life, but Rinka's as well. She cannot forget him for that. Now she's fucking pissed. I get what you mean. Lord knows what drove him to do it. But the fact of the matter that he's pure evil. We can't let someone like him run amok. Now I'm glad you had to prioritize him. I'd have all 3 of his cards already if the other 2 hadn't disappeared. Well, the main issue now is his regret. We wouldn't have figured out his cause of death as quick as you, but it was only a matter of time before we did. I don't have any leads on that, I'm afraid. Then we've got 2 approaches. 1, find someone who knows him and have them spill it. As for 2, we go and get it straight from the horse's mouth. Odette grins from ear to ear, drowning the remainder of her drink. You 2 got your ass kicked by him earlier! That's what they're gonna do? That's what they're gonna do? Oh. Miharu takes a bit of a detour and heads back over to the Lion House. I wonder what Rinka's doing. Miharu can't muster the courage to set foot inside. She does not want to accept that the presence alone will do nothing for Rinka. Instead, she recalls the events from the bar as she gazes through the window. Scale's ability to gather information took her by surprise. All she did was reveal Yu's name, and with that, he quickly discovered his cause of death. And just as they were at a loss in regards to his regret, Odette showed up the way. She seemed excited about the prospect of resorting to violence, too. Miharu is well aware of how capable she is, but today she learned it means nothing when compared to their connections and experience, not to mention Odette's extraordinary physique and spirit. Her presence acted as an insurmountable wall. The prospect of her own elimination doesn't frighten Miharu, though. What frightens her is both Rinka's reaction to it happening as well as the idea of Rinka herself being eliminated. My existence alone isn't enough to give Rinka hope. Her willingness to give in, coupled with a complete lack of faith in herself, this is a side Miharu that she never wants anyone to see. Even so, she made a promise to herself long ago. As long as Rinka believes she's strong-willed, she can do everything she can to live up to those expectations no matter the cost. Ah, man, I feel ya, Miharu. Fortunately, Miharu knows that both Scale and Odette are overestimating her. Perhaps it's due to the bluff she's been maintaining for years, but all she has to do is keep pretending until the lie eventually becomes the truth. She hates herself for being a liar, but she also appreciates her ability to lie for the sake of a single goal. Indeed, she does it all for one person. All for Rinka. Man. The rainy season continues. Just as I continue to remain a shell of my former self, I've only been eating the bare minimum I need to survive. I haven't weighed myself, but I've probably lost a couple pounds. Kilos, come on now. I'm so sorry, Naomi. I've been having the same nightmare lately. It starts the day I met Naomi and ends the moment she died. Night after night, I'm forced to watch her die. I guess it's appropriate punishment for me, though. It's all my fault she died, after all. This is the only way I can repent. The only thing I've done since then is wallow in my own regret. We never should have met in the first place. I can't help but think that. My thought process is nothing but an endless loop about this. I hear my phone ring. I reach over to pick it up. As I do so, I notice the date. Thursday. 5 days have already passed since Naomi died. I have a huge number of missed calls and messages. Most are from Mao. We're still far from school, so I wish she'd leave me alone. I don't have it in me to answer my phone calls or look at any messages she sent. I'm practically the one who killed Naomi. She wouldn't have died if I hadn't gotten her involved. What gives me the right to speak to Mao? The responsibility I feel overall, this crushes me more and more each and every day. Oh, it's from my Gran. There's one missed call from my Gran. She left a voicemail. Come see me if things get tough. It's a simple message, but it's one that instills a sense of relief. Throwing everything by the wayside and spending time with her until my eventual elimination doesn't sound too bad. Shit, dude. Ooh. Although Miharu is cooperating with Scale and the others, she still makes sure to go about her daily life as usual. School being closed has served as a good opportunity for her to take more shifts at work. They did warn students to avoid going outdoors as much as possible, but she doesn't care. Hearing the jingle at the door, Miharu directs her attention towards the entrance. Welcome home, Miss. She finds herself at a loss for words. Who can blame her? Addressing the people who walk into the door as master is something she would much rather not do. Thank you for your patronage. Do be mindful of the weather on your way home. Do be mindful of the weather on your way home. It's like, get the fuck out. Hold up, you can't treat customers like that. Now, Federico, this is a maid cafe, so it's only natural that we would respond in kind. Scale clears his throat before continuing. I have returned home. Goodbye. Make sure you take care on your way home. She's telling us to scram. Ah, the tsundere archetype is just as entertaining as I'd heard. Quit running your mouth, would you? The hell is up with this place anyway? Let me find you a table so you could stop being such a nuisance. It's common for foreigners to visit a maid cafe in Akihabara, so the two of them don't stand out much. Miharu makes sure they can hear her muttering as she directs them to their table. Why did I do to deserve this? Miharu ends up being left in charge of them due to the language barrier. Yo, because they're speaking in like English, and she's just BAM! I know all the shit. I'm not sure what you two were thinking, but this place isn't for the likes of you. We only welcome masters who are sad, disgruntled excuses for people that have somehow had ridiculous expectation of girls they've never once interacted with in their lives. Damn! You just killed everyone in this restaurant. What are your thoughts on the special pancake, Federico? You're paying, so get whatever. Boy, do I feel uncomfortable here, though. Let it be known that I'll hold a grudge against you for the rest of my life if you purchase anything on here, Scale. Oh, they've got a booze menu as well. You fine with beer? This can't be happening. A full hour later, Miharu sees them off, her face bright red with embarrassment all the while, of course. Scale showed her absolutely no mercy, even making her cast a tasty spell on his food. The last person to order it was Sophia, but that hardly compared to the sheer humiliation she felt this time around. Scale knew what maid cafes were about, but the bigger issue was Federico. The grin on his face as she struck the pose made her want to choke the life out of him right then and there. The fun and games only lasted when they got their bill, though. After that was sorted out, Scale quickly told her to come to the usual place. He had just phoned or texted her, but instead he chose to come all this way, and with Federico to boot. She couldn't help but feel like there was a connection between this and both of their secrets. I mean, there has to be a reason he just chose to come all the way out there. That's 3 days in a row now I've come here. Someone's going to catch on to me eventually, you know. Federico and Scale are already there by the time Miharu arrives. As expected, Odette is nowhere to be seen. Your sources may be handy, but your actions today were wholly inappropriate, Scale. She may have a smile on her face, but there's nothing but hostility towards him underneath. I'm sorry, I just had to experience some Japanese culture while I'm here. It'd be a waste otherwise. I made sure to check out the other waitresses, but you're the cream of the crop for sure. Trust me on that one. Can I go home? I'd rather not put up with this regardless of whatever bomb you're about to drop. Miharu makes it clear that she has no time for jokes. She refuses to order anything today. She does not even sit down before continuing. Taking along with Scale as was your one ticket to get away from Odette, I take it. She certainly has you on a short leash. You looking for a fight? Calm down, both of you. Judging by your attitude, Miharu, I assume you realize why I called you here. Miharu freezes for an instant. She takes a moment to reflect on it. After all, she must remain one step ahead of her own expectations. Miharu's pupils widen as she reaches a conclusion. The elimination of Odette Malencon. That's why you brought me into this alliance, isn't it? Keep it that keen mind of yours makes me so glad I did. Yo, they're teaming up on number 11 too. You know how dangerous she is. Like I said before, people let their guard down most when they're focused on something. The more focused you are on it, the less aware you are of your surroundings. You're the only one here capable of taking advantage of that. There's no way she'd ever let it happen around me and Scale. Isn't it a bit early for you to reveal your master plan? Nope, this is perfect timing. In fact, you're probably thinking that you can't match her, right? I doubt anyone could deny both her strength and wisdom, but that's precisely why it's dangerous to resign yourself to her. She's undoubtedly wicked at heart, but there's something about her that makes you forget. We figured it would be best to tell you before she gets into your head. Think about it for a second. Divine selection. But without either her or Alan, sounds way simpler, right? You're overestimating far too much if you think I'm capable of gathering any information on her. Well, the two of us already have a good idea on her cause of death. Give us another few days and we'll be able to get a card out of it. Shouldn't Federico already have the card, though? Because they died on the same boat. Although we'll have to figure out a way to do it without her knowing. All you need to do is find out her regret. If you feel bad about doing so, then don't force it. Just remember that we're doing this because she's evil. Makes our actions just. There's no hesitation in Scale's voice. Miharu casts her gaze down, presenting herself as deep in thought. As she does so, laughter begins to leak from her mouth. Our actions are just, you say? Sorry to break it to you, but we're just as evil as she is, every last one of us. It's all the same to me, though. I'll embrace that fact, because my end goal will never change. Part of her laughter comes as the massive collapse of tension. The wall she thought to be insurmountable has begun to show cracks. Just as they've already gotten an idea about her cause of death, Miharu has come across clues regarding her regret. Turning those oh yeah, that's right, she did mention that. Turning those clues into a card shouldn't prove too difficult with Scale's help. What's hilarious, however, is that Scale, who's willing to betray Odette immediately after forming an alliance, has no idea that Miharu possesses his cause of death card. Situations like this don't happen on a daily basis. You're right, they certainly don't! And this is why Miharu finds herself laughing hysterically. Her sudden change in attitude seems to perplex Federico. Did she lose a few screws or something? How rude. Surely I'm allowed to laugh when I find something funny. Anyway, I fully intend on playing my part of this alliance. Of course, only under the condition that you remains our first and foremost priority. I'd figure you say that. No objections here, of course. It's all for a just cause. He extends his right hand, hoping for Miharu to shake it. Miharu does not respond in kind, however. Instead, she turns her back to him. The dim lighting in the bar shimmers over her long, sleek hair. I'm sure this goes without saying, but try not to mess this up for us. It'd be pathetic if this entire plan backfired on you. No need to worry. I've been waiting for this opportunity ever since I teamed up with her. I've got to do something. All I got to do, though, is go through with it now. Jesus. Whether or not she catches on. Miharu exits the bar by the time Federico finishes his explanation. Miharu finds himself staring at the lighthouse for outside once again. The nighttime summer breeze caresses her. The line between good and evil doesn't matter for us. That's all that matters is that I pull through for your sake. That said, she makes her way back home. We're sitting Friday already, I muttered to myself. I never accepted my grand's offer in the end. Not because I'll figure I'll be fine on my own. I just lacked the motivation and energy to pack and travel the distance required. I probably would have gone if someone packed for me and came to pick me up. I might just be a shell of a human at this point. Then the front buzzer rings. I ignore it. It rings again. I ignore it again. But it doesn't stop ringing. It annoys me to the point where I actually go and answer it. Cut it out already! Rennie! The sheer volume of her voice from beyond the speaker causes my body to jolt backward. That, in turn, causes me to miss the ideal opportunity to cut them short. The person on the other end takes that as their chance. Rennie, open up, Rennie! I'm not sure why Mao's here, but I'm not in the mood to see her. But at the same time, I just don't have it in me to ignore her. I guess a part of me figures she's here to cheer me up. She's actually accepting. Been a while, Rennie. You sure aren't dressed to impress, huh? Mao gives her honest opinion on my current state. I know she's right. My hair's a mess and I'm wearing pajamas. I've at least been taking baths and brushing my teeth, so I shouldn't look like a complete filth. Somehow it feels longer than 4 days since we last saw each other. I don't think we've ever been apart for this long before. That seems intense. It's been a while since I was last at Lion House, too. Think the last time was just before Golden Week when I came with Did you watch that show yesterday? Honestly, I wasn't expecting those two to kiss. There's no need to beat around the bush. I know you're hurting as much as I am. More importantly, why are you even here? Can't keep secrets around you, can I? Ain't it obvious? I wanted to see you. I got worried because you keep ignoring my calls and stuff. I feel like I was about to lose you, too. Mal, let me get you some coffee. Are you fine with cafe au lait? I think I'll go with some proper coffee today, but, make sure there's plenty of milk and sugar in it. I tie my hair up before heading to the kitchen. Mal's thoughts and feelings are about coming here are clear just by the look on her face. I may not have the energy or motivation, but that's irrelevant when I'm in the kitchen. You're a pro the moment you enter the kitchen. My grand's words stuck with me even now. Now that I think about it, I haven't made any coffee for a few days. It's not that long, really, but I don't think I've ever gone this amount of time without brewing anything. I doubt I've gotten any worse. No matter what condition I'm in, my body remembers what to do. Here you go. Ooh, smells nice. I see you've re-engaged mess mode by untying your hair again. Mao may seem to be acting normally, but I can tell she's only half as lively as she usually is. Blech, bitter. Only one sip is all she needs to grimace from the taste. She wastes no time dumping in 4 sugars and some extra milk into the cup after that. Not a moment of hesitation at all. Well, that's fine by me. I'm not particularly fussy about how other people prefer their coffee. Lion House is meant to be a second home to its customers. Why do something here that you don't like doing at home? Sure is pouring outside, huh? Both of us quietly count raindrops as we drink our coffee. Time passes by slowly, as though in contrast to the tempo of the rain. The droplets clinging to the tree leaves accentuate the beautiful green color. It's kind of funny how the rain will stop every now and then, but I can't stop crying over what happened. Oh man. Her voice is almost hushed down enough to be drowned out by the rain. She's right, though. I've spent every day in tears, and there seems to be no end to them. Is there a reason you're blaming yourself for what happened? Oh, now she's in her, pajamas. Oh, shit. Rinka wants to ask how Mao knows. After all, the only other person she talked to was you and Miharu. Regardless, she offers a simple explanation of the facts. Mao shouldn't know anything about divine selection, let alone the fact that Naomi got caught up in it. I know you just as well as you know me. You might have been there when it happened, but it doesn't mean it's your fault. There's no reason to blame yourself for not being able to save her. The only person at fault is the culprit. You don't need to beat yourself up. The grief you feel over losing her is enough. It wouldn't have happened if I hadn't taught her how to brew coffee. It's my fault that for making her go through the class's plans for the cultural festival. If I haven't spoken to her that day in the library, she might be alive if she never met me. This is what I've been telling myself over and over again. Doing so has become a part of my daily routine. Don't say that, Rennie. Not after all the time we spent together. Me, you, Miharun, and now Rin. Whether we were chatting together here or going to the theme park, I honestly have had so much fun when we were together. You're just smearing the memories we made together by saying that. I don't want that. Not when I treasure them so much. I just wish we could have spent more time together. We had made plans to go somewhere after the cultural festival. That's why you shouldn't let yourself grieve instead of blaming yourself. Or you should let yourself grieve instead of blaming yourself. Don't be upset that you couldn't save her. Be upset that you can't spend more time with her. My memories with Naomi. Those memories aren't just mine. Like Mao said, they're memories we all treasure. As I said earlier, a part of me felt like I was about to lose you too. I couldn't handle that. I don't want to see you fall deeper into the hole you've dug for yourself. It's not something you can get over easy. I know that because I'm in the same hole. But even then, we gotta climb out. We've still got our lives ahead of us. We're still alive. We still have our futures ahead of us. I still have the potential to achieve something despite all that's happened. No one knows what the future has in store for us. I won't tell you to cheer up. But at the very least, I want you to realize you don't need to go through this alone. We can move forward together, even if we cry along the way. Mao. Sorry, I can't hold it in anymore. Neither of us can. We both cry our hearts out. Mao's crying face is all I could see for a good while. Just because we're together doesn't make me any less sad. We can't share our pain. What happened pains each of us equally. Still, at the very least, we can weep over what we lost together. Well, at least she's doing something. Night has fallen by the time we settle back down. Surprisingly enough, it also stopped raining. That's pretty rare this time of season. Yeah, did you know that the school's back in session next week? Oh, really? Check your messages. That's probably one from the school in there somewhere. Anyway, no skipping class once next week rolls around, agreed? I know. I'll see you next week. Yep, catch you later. I head back to my room after seeing Mao off. Wanting to test something, I flip open my card book. Figures. I can't believe I was stupid enough to let this slip past me. Light spews forth from it, which eventually takes the form of a new card. The contents are simple. My regret. It's none other than my regular life. It may seem trivial, but it represents the future, what the future holds for me. I always figured I had no regret to speak of, but even then I wanted to live. It takes me a while, but I finally figure out the answer that lies behind the contradiction. The lack of an answer in regards to my regret is in itself the answer I have been seeking. I just wanted to spend more time with everyone. I wanted to be someone who is cherished by everyone like my gran. I wanted to fall in love just like the characters in shoujo manga I read. I wanted to watch a movie that really tugs at my heartstrings. I wanted to get better at making coffee. I want to make food worth serving here. I want to go to college. I want to grow old enough to drink. So many desires, so many wishes, so many possibilities. There's still so much I want to do, things I haven't even realized yet. My regret is tied to the idea of what awaits me in life, who I'll become, what I'll achieve, all of that. Thinking and worrying about that while marching forward is, to me, an integral part of my daily life, and that's not something I'll abandon so easily. I press the new card against my chest as I think of that. I never expected Mao of all people to be the one to console me. I can't even stifle my laughter. It's the first time in a while I was able to laugh. My actions from here on out are tied to my future. I'm the only one with the ability to achieve that limitless potential that awaits me. Who else could do that besides me? There's just one thing, though. One thing I have to achieve immediately. I'm going to bring Naomi back. I throw my fist up towards the ceiling. Mao said it was fine for me to grieve, but I don't have that luxury, nor do I have the luxury to sit around and blame myself. I'm currently balancing on the boundary of fate itself. Now it's time to face forward and act. I need to eliminate you. Not because of what he said. It's entirely of my own will. I need to take my life back with my own hands. Wait for me, Naomi. Is my life worth casting aside the lives of others for? I still don't know if I have that answer, but I know that I'm the only one who will shape my own future. That was cool. Well, anyway, that's it for this episode, so make sure to click that thumbs up button down below for me because you already know your support is greatly appreciated. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on the visual novel so far, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And then in the next episode, we're going to see if she can muster the courage to eliminate you.